There are certain games so well-loved and influential that their inclusion in the Noclip Hall of Fame is essentially a formality, a given. But what about games that left less of a footprint on the history of video games? Hidden gems and cult classics that loom large over the history of those people who played them. Games whose evangelists find it hard to believe that not every person on the planet Earth has experienced this game. And for me, this game is Heroes of Might and Magic 3. In 1984, John Van Caneghem founded New World Computing with his wife, Michaela. And only 2 short years later, in 1986, Van Caneghem would go on to single-handedly complete Might and Magic Book 1, The Secret of the Inner Sanctum, on his Apple II computer while finishing college. The game sold over 100,000 copies by 1989. And this game was where it all began. This was Might and Magic, simply put. It wasn't Heroes of Might and Magic, it wasn't Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, it was just Might and Magic. The original Might and Magic is a first-person, turn-based, dungeon-crawling adventure game. I haven't personally really gotten into this era of RPGs, but at a glance it reminds me of something like Wizardry or The Bard's Tale. In this interview from 2017, conducted by Matt Barton for his YouTube channel, John Van Caneghem himself briefly explains what this period in his life was like. He acquired a 1-800 number for people to order the game, handled phone orders himself, put ads in Computer Gaming World and other magazines, and sold copies of Might and Magic one at a time, the old-fashioned way. Van Caneghem originally intended New World to be his development company, but changed his mind in late 1985 and early 1986 when he started showing his finished game to publishers who told him that as a newcomer, he could expect royalties of only $1 on a $50 to $60 retail price. Disgusted, Van Caneghem began reading up on running a small business and used his remaining capital to pay for a run of 5,000 games, packaging, an 800 number, and a professionally prepared ad that ran in magazines for Apple users. And every single one of those 5,000 games was sold within 2 months. This went on until he was acquired by the Activision Affiliate Label Program, an incentive by an Activision of a bygone era to match the massive forces of their distribution, sales, and marketing with the software of industrious small-scale entrepreneurs like John Van Caneghem. And the original Might and Magic RPGs seem to be influential for a reason. From what I can gather, they did some very cool and ambitious things. The 2 later Might and Magic Zine games had a crossover where if you had both games installed on your computer, it unveiled an entire 25% more of the game that was like a world connecting the 2 game worlds from these 2 separate games. And this one has Dan Harmon in it. And even though the Heroes of Might and Magic series, my personal touchstone for the Might and Magic franchise, would come later, you can see inklings of it in the worlds of the original Might and Magic games, particularly in all of the weird creatures in the Might and Magic series, which is perhaps best represented in this clip from the finale of Clouds of Zine, where right before the credits, it plays a video of all of the monster animations from the entire game, and it is one of the most hypnotic things I've ever seen in my entire life. But as Might and Magic skyrocketed in popularity, as that 3-word phrase, Might and Magic, became a household name among RPG aficionados, in 1990, John Van Caneghem and New World Computing would quietly release King's Bounty, a game that I can only describe to you as a top-down strategy RPG, kind of. It's more like a sim game. It's less Tactics Ogre and more Civilization. There's very little management to speak of. You basically just ride around the overworld, raising an army of weird monsters and soldiers, collecting treasure and occasionally besieging the castles of various villains. Though King's Bounty itself is a humble game, playing it now as a prototype for the Heroes of Might and Magic series, it's easy to see how much brilliance there is in its systems. Nevertheless, King's Bounty was received tepidly. It got a measly 3 out of 5 from Dragon magazine. But then, in 1995, riding high on the fumes of his RPG success, John Van Caneghem would release Heroes of Might and Magic, a game that took all the high fantasy and adventure of the Might and Magic series and transmuted it onto the perspective of King's Bounty. It was a top-down fantasy strategy game with elements of popular sim games of that time, things like resource management and production allocation. And so I think a lot of people misunderstand what Heroes of Might and Magic is if they've never played it, because if you look at screenshots of it, it kind of looks like an RTS or like a board game. And it is kind of like a board game, but it's like way better than any board game that I've ever played in my life. It is a strategy RPG, and it's like a simulation game. It's something different. It kind of has similarities to games like Imperium Galactica or Civilization, but it's not like a city builder or a 4X game. It's more like a top-down RPG that presents itself as a Civ-like game, complete with this sort of open-ended scenario-based structure to the gameplay. Okay, wait, I think I've got it. It's fantasy risk with hex grid battle on an RPG overworld. I feel like 1994's Master of Magic by Sid Meier's Microprose might be the closest analog, but yet another game that I have not played, but definitely will now that I know of its existence. But making Heroes of Might and Magic out of King's Bounty was not as simple as just making the worlds bigger and adding more complexity. In fact, Van Caneghem says himself in this interview from 2015 that the magic didn't come together until the last minute. And he uses the word magic. I'm not saying magic is of Might and Magic. He says that.
The magic kind of came together in the last few weeks.
In this interview, JVC says that people didn't think Heroes of Might and Magic was fun 3 weeks before they shipped it. Can you imagine if you were 3 weeks away from shipping a game and all your QA testers were like, this game sucks? But somehow, in those 3 weeks, tweaking things like pacing and turn length and move distance, Van Caneghem and team turned Heroes of Might and Magic around.
Anytime you're creating a new game, a game that has mechanics that people haven't played before, there's a lot of resistance to like it or to enjoy it or to figure it out, because they're used to A, they've been playing this all the time, and now you're giving them something new, and it's foreign, so the first reaction is I don't like it. Right? It's very tough. I just kept making all these little tweaks, and I said, try it again. And then all of a sudden they started to get into it, and then they started battling each other. Then they started arguing over strategies, and that's my usual moment of clarity in game development is the moment QA is arguing over which strategy is best to win, we're ready to ship.
Another interesting detail that Van Caneghem shares about this time period is that the game was originally just called Heroes. It had no affiliation with the Might and Magic franchise. It was just Heroes. And then basically they were worried that nobody would even give the game a chance if it didn't have a recognizable brand name attached. And so Heroes of Might and Magic was born, and references to the Might and Magic franchise were worked into the Heroes games. And whether it was the branding or the name or just the game itself, Heroes of Might and Magic did really well. This 1995 Business Wire article says that both Heroes of Might and Magic and Wetlands had both sold around 100,000 units each approaching the end of the year. Which is good, because despite the fact that New World Computing published a lot of games, the only two games that they themselves developed that were released in 1995 were Heroes of Might and Magic and Multimedia Celebrity Poker, a 1995 poker game in which you play against Joe Piscopo and Jonathan Frakes.
Called a plumber to your home lately?
How superstitious are you?
How much money would it take to make you spend a night in a cemetery? Would you display this as a trophy?
Given the success of Heroes of Might and Magic and New World Computing's predilection towards doing a bunch of sequels for their games, it seemed obvious that a Heroes of Might and Magic 2 would be coming. But before the world would ever see Heroes of Might and Magic 2, something happened that would forever alter the trajectory of Might and Magic history. July 10th, 1996, via Business Wire, Redwood City, California, the 3DO company today announced that it has acquired the assets of New World Computing from NTN Communications for approximately $13 million, consisting of 3DO common stock and the assumption of certain liabilities. But for the time being, let's put a pin in that and pretend that it's 1996. And what a year it was for video games, because Heroes of Might and Magic 2, The Succession Wars, would be released on November 16th of 1996. And this truly is the breakout point for the series. Growing up, I had Heroes of Might and Magic 1, 2, and 3 in a little sleeve that had a disc for each of the games. And despite having all three of them installed and playing all of them at least a little bit, the jump in quality between Heroes 1 to 2 and Heroes 2 to 3 is impossible to overstate. So at the time that 2 came out, I'm sure it was breathtaking. The game itself was not just a sequel to Heroes of Might and Magic, but a complete overhaul of Heroes of Might and Magic. But Heroes 2 also expanded massively on the actual content of the game, more clearly cementing the game's factions as having distinct identities from one another. Vin Canigum reflects that the team was excited to have more time to spend on scenario design and polish, since the engine didn't need to be built from scratch and the gameplay loop had already been ironed out in the original. But then, in 1999, John Van Canigum and his development team at New World Computing would create Heroes of Might and Magic 3, a game that I would say is their masterpiece, and a game that Van Canigum himself recognizes as the pinnacle of everything they'd learn on every Heroes game prior, and his personal favorite of the Heroes of Might and Magic games. Frankly, it's difficult for me to say what's so great about Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It's every cool and interesting thing that I've mentioned about Heroes of Might and Magic up to this point, but refined over years of iteration and made by a larger team. It's a strangely addictive genre hybrid unlike anything I've ever played. But it brings me no great pleasure to tell you that this is kind of the high watermark for the Might and Magic franchise. It was the last of the Heroes games with John Van Canigum at the helm. And not long after this, 3DO went under and sold the rights to the entire Might and Magic franchise to Ubisoft. To their credit, they did stick the Might and Magic name onto an excellent game by Arcane. And while they have made a bunch more Heroes of Might and Magic games, I can't help but fear that the slow downslide in critical reception to each successive Heroes game is indicative of the series slowly losing touch with the core design philosophy that made the game so great in the first place. And while it's tempting to write this off as the tastes of gamers changing over the years, the only real competitor to Heroes of Might and Magic that I'm aware of, Songs of Conquest, has done quite well. It's got almost 5,000 reviews on Steam with 87% positive. And I think it would be myopic to write off the entire Heroes genre of games just because they're kind of old and kind of niche. I think these games have so much brilliant design within them. And to this day, if I fire up Heroes of Might and Magic 3, a game that I first played over 20 years ago, it is still nearly impossible for me to pull myself away. Like Sid Meier's Civilization, a franchise famous for inspiring the words "one more turn" in the minds of its players, I think Heroes of Might and Magic is a timeless franchise which has many lessons left to teach us. And I think Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is the best expression of that vision. And so, fearing that Heroes of Might and Magic 3 may otherwise be lost to the sands of time, the burden fell on me to convince Danny O'Dwyer that Heroes of Might and Magic 3 isn't just some game that I loved as a child. It's one of the greatest games of all time, and it deserves its place in the Noclip Hall of Fame. All right, let me get one sip of coffee.
You have the dustiest microphone in the world, I've just realized.
I actually noticed that earlier.
It would have been fine, except you rubbed one clean line.
It had one clean line on it. I know. I don't know why I started cleaning it and didn't continue. Danny, welcome to Heroes of Might and Magic 3, truly one of the greatest games ever made. Do you know anything about Heroes of Might and Magic 3?
This is one of those games that has, like, my eyes gloss over when I hear those words together because it just sounds so complicated and so outside of my wheelhouse. But I've always wanted to know what it was about, but didn't have anyone who gave a shit enough about this game to let me know. The fact that you keep saying it's really good is really throwing me, because now I feel like a weirdo who, like, saw Deus Ex and went, ugh, Latin, and never played that game. So please tell me, regale me. This good start. This Princess's Tower. Oh my God! Look at all this anime. Look at these GIFs.
One of the best parts of the Might and Magic games, including the old RPGs, is the bizarre monsters.
Oh my God!
So even though we can only build gremlins and stone gargoyles right now because we don't have the requisite buildings to recruit these guys, you can see, like, I like that it shows you what you'll be able to recruit someday.
Wait, you can recruit these things?
These are the monsters. So this is a top-down. Let me go out to the overworld here. This is a top-down, kind of like sim-ish strategy RPG. I'll make it very clear in the VO before this. It's not a strategy RPG, and it's not a Civ like Sid Meier game. It's kind of in between the two. So what you do is you have heroes.
It's not Warcraft either.
Yeah, no.
It's not a real-time strategy. It's not, okay.
It does look like an RTS, yeah. I think that's the confusion a lot of people have, is they think that this is like Age of Empires with more fantasy.
Yeah.
But it is a game where you ride around as little heroes with armies of little, like, monsters and soldiers and stuff. Collect things, fight things, and basically so there are scenarios, but this is just a random map. So in this fog of war, there are 6 other kingdoms similar to mine and other AI heroes who are riding around. And in turn-based fashion, we will go and fight and conquer them. So
you can what that thing in the bottom right, the Nagus.
Yes.
Nagas. What happens in Nagas stays in Nagas. I want her so bad. Look at
Las
that.
Nagas.
Yes.
Yeah. The
God.
Nagas are actually one of the best units of the game. They're so good. But right
Are
now,
those the different cities that you're gonna go to?
So these are the different buildings. So like this cloud temple is what you need to build giants. So if you go to the village hall here, these are all the buildings you can build. So this is one of the cool things about this game is that it has a lot of the like the intrigue of tech trees of things like Age of Empires and stuff like that, where it's building a thing and then getting the prereq for the next thing and kind of building your way up. But it's very streamlined. Like these are all of the buildings for the entire like or race, kingdom, whatever it is that we've picked.
Okay.
So right now,
it's not too broad or too wide. So are you technically, because you're controlling the heroes when you go out into the overworld, but are you also like the mayor of this village?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So this is our hero, Peakdrum. This old alcoholic-looking man is going to be our hero here.
That gremlin. This game has a look, man.
Yeah, it really does. Go back and look at Heroes of Might and Magic 1 and 2, and you will appreciate. Like this looks like a Vermeer painting compared to 1 and 2.
Okay.
They are bad. I don't want to say bad. They have a very crunchy look to them.
This looks good. Look at those jewels. I want those jewels so
Okay,
bad.
let's go get those jewels first, dude.
Oh
That's
my
you gotta
God.
follow your instinct in a game like this. So we got 20 gargoyles. We got master gremlins now. So what I did is I upgraded our gremlin workshop because gremlins are one of the worst units in the game. But if you upgrade them, you get master gremlins, and master gremlins are ranged. So they still suck, but they suck from a distance.
The bowling ball with the chain chomp they have is twice as long.
Yeah, and they throw the chain chomp now. So I've got the gems. The gems are, so these are the resources down in this bottom panel. You got gold, gems, crystals, sulfur, ore, mercury, and lumber.
Mercury.
Mercury. Everyone knows you need mercury to run
Just
a good
walking around
empire.
with a pot of mercury. That sounds very dangerous. They're all
big
going to die of
cauldron.
mercury poisoning.
So this is oh, this is Scholar. I thought this was a bad guy. I think this guy gives you spells, maybe? Ride in
Okay.
clearing. You notice a university scholar resting his horse. He agrees to teach you some of what he knows before setting off. Okay, so basic estates.
Basic estates.
So
Oh my
this is-
God.
This is like on the heroes, you have this screen, which is they have abilities, they level up, they have spell points, and you can learn spells and stuff. Some of them are like, to give you a good example, one of them is a necromancer, is one of the classes, and if you defeat guys, some percentage of the dead guys from the battle become new skeletons for you to use,
Cool.
which is awesome. So that's a complete turn in Heroes of Might and Magic 3. You get to move each hero a little bit. You get to do a build at the kingdom, recruit if you want to, collect some stuff, and that's a full turn. So now we're going to
Okay.
end the first turn.
Okay. And
So
then
that
the aliens move. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Now the XCOM aliens move. So that little blip right there was all the other the turns of the AI players.
Okay.
So if we did not have Fog of War, if we could see them, it would have shown us in very fast time what they were doing.
Oh, like
Yeah.
jumped around the map kind of thing.
Exactly.
A little bit?
But we
Okay.
don't have visibility for that.
Like the aliens. I was right. Like in
Yeah,
XCOM.
it is. This is just fantasy XCOM. And it's going to get more XCOM-y, actually. So
Okay.
this is lots of gnolls. I don't know if we can take them yet. I'm scared.
Lots of gnolls.
Let me let you in on a little secret. No, I don't want to quit. Save scumming is a huge part of the meta for this game.
Terrific.
I'm going to try not to save scum at all, but I want to...
In the interest of time.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to explore a little bit. We're going to wait a little bit. I'm going to build. And we're... Oh, so that was the Redwood Tower, so that gives you a little
Ooh,
more
look at that. Now
visibility.
we can see loads. Look at all these big purple obelisks.
Yes, so the obelisks reveal to you a little piece of the puzzle. There's a hidden artifact on every map. There's only one, and it's buried, and you have to dig for it. So every time you get that,
and does it always have a different power? Is it a different thing?
it is always the same for each civilization, but each civilization has their own. So you get to build a wonder, which is a civilization specific building that gives different
Tower
boons.
of Babel or something.
Yes,
right?
exactly,
Okay.
like a wonder. So we've moved Peakdrum a little bit. Let's see what we can build here.
I'd argue that your castle is already a wonder. The fucking height of that.
I know.
No locked up princess is getting out of that one. Like,
It's funny too, because like this is a low level city. Like we have gremlins and gargoyles. That's all we got, and we got that castle. It's looking pretty good for us.
wow, it's good.
So now we have a golem factory. Golems, stone golems are like they're okay. Iron golems are better, but we're gonna get them for now.
I can't get over the art. It's so good.
It's
Just
so good.
You just don't see art like this anymore. This
Yeah.
type of digital, Like it's like early pixel art when people were making shit, trying to make like Renaissance paintings out of Deluxe Paint 3. You know?
Yeah,
It's just-
totally. It is like MS Paint Renaissance.
Yeah.
So this is a sawmill. So there's a lot of all of these resources at the bottom. For each one, there's a corresponding thing on the map that gives you a tick per turn of that resource. So this is the lumber mill. So now I think we get 2 lumber every turn. It said.
Nice.
So we're
And
building
just
up.
by going there and like the flag pops up, red flag, and now it's yours.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And those can be captured by other players. So part of the strategy is you want to go riding around. Like if you want to harass another team, just like go
Yeah.
in and grab all their resources, and then they have to spend the time to go gather those up again. So we want a mage tower because mages are one of the
Sure.
best ranged units in the game. But first
Love
we need a
magi.
mage guild. They're really cool in this game. As
Whoa,
they are in
was
every
that
game.
it? It just got built up in the top right?
Yes.
Whoa. look
So
at
this
that.
screen will fill out by the end of the game. This screen is full of like crazy buildings. So this is our mage tower. So this is spells for the hero.
This shit.
So let's rest again.
I miss games that like they could have just used a bunch of menus. But
Yeah.
they're like, no, you go into the mage's tower and you can look out, and here's all their
Totally.
weird
Yeah,
little
it does a lot
upgrades.
of good like yeah, you're right. Like it could have been way more representative and top down since this view is top down, but they really get
Right.
like it's very intimate some of the screens. So during that turn I saw a guy poke his head up. I think he popped out of here and went back in maybe. So that's
that very inviting looking cave over there.
so that is a subterranean gate. There is a whole nother see this button right here that looks like a cave.
Yeah.
There's a whole other
Uh-oh.
overworld,
Uh-oh.
or should I say an underworld.
Uh-oh.
So presumably, I don't know how. I don't know if it's random. I don't know if like 3 of the players are overworld and 3 are underworld or what. But it's kind of a nice touch because you could think you're totally safe, but you have to think on 2 levels. Like someone could sneak up on you and hop out of that gate.
Oh
at any
right,
moment.
yeah, that's cool.
So let's do a fight. Let's some of these
some
things are
people
just
up,
like random
Jeremy.
resources. Yeah, let's go fight some gnolls. They're weak and powerless. But first, got our mage tower. So the magi, as you know, they're notorious for needing a lot of resources.
They
So
fucking love jewels, man.
they need 5 of everything. So we got 4 magi now. This cool beardy guy.
Oh yeah, look at that guy.
Yeah, and eventually there'll be arch magi, which are one of my favorite units. So let's take a peek. What's this guy guarding? To a monolith. Oh boy. Okay, let's go fight this guy anyway.
Okay, let's do it. I'm terrified. Day 5. Look at that. Look at this beautiful. It's like an Encarta. You know?
It does feel like encyclopedia software, some of the
Yes.
art. Okay, so we couldn't quite make it in one turn, so we keep building. An important thing to know is in this game, the monsters respawn to recruit once a week. And it's like a normal week, it's 7 days. So you want to try in the first week to get as many monster producing or unit producing buildings as possible, because it'll give you a lead on the unit counts, which is a huge leg up in the long game.
They take the weekends off.
Yeah, exactly. The monsters need time too. So let's do a fight. This is an exciting moment for you. What do you think the battle is like in this game, if you had to guess?
I assumed like just it stays like this, and maybe some little pictures pop up, and then the pictures are like represented, like kind of like Pokemon encounters or
Okay.
early Final Fantasy encounters, something like
Okay, you're not totally wrong.
that. Okay.
It is
Oh my god.
It is a grid-based strategy combat system. You can also you can make the grid view hex grid appear. I'm gonna turn the animation speed up a little bit because it goes very slow by default.
Okay.
So this is the grid.
Oh my god.
So it is a grid-based strategy. So it kind of is like a strategy RPG in many ways. So these gnolls do not stand a chance.
Oh wow. And you don't have to be straight. You can shoot that thing down 3 or 2 at least.
Yeah. So that was the hero spells. So those are actually pretty good. So kind of the meta that I have is you take your ranged units, you pepper them from a distance, give them a little pepper, and you just let them walk over here, because by the time they get here, I'm going to have done so much damage they won't stand a chance. But we'll move the golems up a little bit.
Look at these little dudes.
What
are they? No,
those
are
are
they the gnolls?
gnolls, yeah.
Which are like what, wolfmen or something?
I don't know. They look like they're cheetah men or something.
I had an uncle Noel, so I always thought it was like a bunch of guys called Noel. But
Was he
it's
a
not.
gnoll? Was he a cheetah man?
He was not a cheetah man.
Oh, that's a
He
shame.
was in the army. He was in the army though. So,
Okay. He
you know,
he probably did a lot of grid-based combat.
probably fought a lot of magi back in the Lebanon. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, there's
Bosnia.
so many
Fucking
magi over there.
Full of gnolls and or full of gremlins with fucking chain balls. What is that about?
A glorious victory for Peakdrum. 204
Wow.
experience. Did not take a single casualty
That's
because
a-
we just blasted them.
That's close to ethnic cleansing.
Yeah,
When you
yeah.
kill 34 of something and none of you die,
They didn't
that
stand a
wasn't,
chance,
that wasn't
man.
a fight. That was
Yeah, our motivations were unclear, but who knows? They could have been nefarious.
Oh, what?
So that was the two-way monolith that Noel was guarding. So this is the underworld.
Oh, so the two-way monolith is like a teleporter.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So the reason I was a little hesitant to fight these gnolls is now there's an unguarded two-way teleporter to our back door.
Oh yeah.
But it's not the end of the world. It's also like if someone really wanted to get in there, it's like 34 gnolls isn't gonna save the kingdom.
How come it just sent you to the bottom left over there?
So the two-way, the subterranean gates, like if I go through this one, I will end up in the same rough location on the underworld, but the two-way monoliths are like a teleport, so you have
so
no
you
idea
could end
where
up
they're gonna go.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Kind of. Oh, that's crazy. So that also is like if you're trying to defend your home area, they could go to a totally different part of the underground and then pop up right by your place. Like
Exactly.
there. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things about this game is that you really like there's a tendency to want to just stack all your units on one hero because you don't want to lose a lot of units in a fight, so you want to have dominating power, so you want to stack one guy. But the problem is that if you stack one guy, you have nobody to guard your base, and then you're just totally screwed because someone can just if you don't have a castle, I think it gives you like 3 or 5 turns before you lose the game.
Oh no.
Um,
But you're not leaving anyone at home right now.
No, because I haven't seen anyone yet. I'm not too worried. We got genies now, by the way, and nagas.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, so
No,
there's.
you got to be careful saying that one, actually.
I will be very careful. So I'm gonna wait one day because it's about to be week 2, and Peakdrum is about to have a bigger army.
Okay.
The proclaimed week of the squirrel. All dwellings increase population. So
Wow,
let's see
look at
here.
that. They even show a curved Earth.
Yeah, they knew back then. They
did.
used magic to know. What are we gonna get here? Oh, I should have grabbed this because then we'd have more stone gargoyles. But
What
no.
does sculptor's wings give you?
4 extra stone gargoyles per
Oh,
week.
of course, gargoyles. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got,
Let's get the
gotta
look at
sculpt
that.
your gargoyles.
Yeah, you gotta. Somebody's got to. So let's get as many ranged units as we can, and then we're kind of broke here. Yeah, 1 gremlin, we're totally broke. But Peakdrum's got a pretty good army. Honestly, Nagas are the second best unit. They're not upgraded, but they're the second best unupgraded unit that we have in our whole civilization here. So
They look pretty fucking crazy. They're like snake
Yeah.
ladies with swords.
yeah, they're a little nuts. So where do you want to go? Do you want to fight some
I want to go up
pixies?
to up
You wanna go
up
here?
there. Just look at the
Okay.
jewels.
Yeah, let's go
They're
get some more
there. Go up
jewels.
and fuck up that master gremlin
A
horde.
horde of master. Okay, I'm gonna
that a lot?
save. I'm gonna
Yeah, let's do
horde. So yeah, that's the. There's a number that corresponds to how many each is. So it'll say like a throng of familiars, lots of familiars,
A baker's dozen.
a baker's dozen,
Firkin of
yeah,
Nagas.
a bushel of master gremlins.
Yeah.
This might be okay. They're awed by the power of our forces. Do we wish to pursue and engage them? No, let them run.
Nah, it's all
Let
right.
them
We got-
live
yeah.
another day.
They just
So-
fucking disappeared into the ether.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
So these are the obelisks. So this is the puzzle.
Oh, what?
So we've
You didn't
revealed.
tell me this was a
one
puzzle.
piece. Yeah. So this will show you where the artifact is that you can dig up on. So it doesn't
wow.
really tell you on the world map. It just shows you like a screenshot of the place on the world map. You still have to find it.
Wait. So every time you get one of those puzzles, it just reveals a part of the map.
Yes.
Well, I wonder what the in-game in-lore explanation for that is.
I have no clue. Yeah.
This is-
The puzzle system is how
look
magic
at this
works.
don't kill this sexy pig.
It's
pixie.
too late. You should see
do
the
it.
sprite for when you watch the video. You'll see this. The older sprite and heroes of
Oh,
Magic
no.
1 and 2 for this is like absurd looking, like very very busty and weird and like a little
What are they
uncomfortable
called?
to look at.
The what?
Pixies.
The pixies in what? In Might
Oh,
and
and Heroes of Might and
Magic
Magic 1 and 2 are like
Okay.
way more bodacious looking.
2? Okay, I'm looking them up.
Okay, we got this. Okay, so this is I don't know what they're not artifacts, but maybe these are called artifacts as well. This is
Ooh,
like
a cape of conjuring.
this goes on Peakdrum, so only one of your heroes can have this. Increased duration of all your spells by 3. That seems like it kind of sucks. But who knows? Okay, so see, these are other people moving around. So now we got people on the periphery. So there's a guy right here, Astral. He's got a pat. Oh, we could totally take this guy. Can we get over there? Let's see. This is. I think we can knock it. Oh, look at this cube. Pandora's box.
Oh my God, Pandora's box is just hanging out at the edge of a forest.
Just
Nobody
guarded
open
by a
it.
pack of manticores. Yeah, you would think they'd be a little more careful, but
I am completely in love with how this how this game looks. That just like it's scratching the same itch as like Age of Empires.
yeah.
But in like I don't know, there's something else about it. It's just so like contrasty and colorful, and it kind of looks like it was made by like a 15-year-old or something. But that's like
Yeah, like the
very
most
reductive.
talented 15-year-old of the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. It has a. Oh, okay. So someone just went through our two-way monolith. My
Oh,
worst
yeah,
fears
I
have been
saw.
realized.
My
Okay.
greatest fears have been realized. Gotta go back.
Let's see
So
if we can take it back.
you can't like just go back to your town and make some stuff. You have to be in your town.
Yeah, so you can. So if they attack the town, depending on the level of upgrades you have, there's you get like a wall, like a siege wall that they have to break through. So you have the advantage if they attack your city.
Could you believe a bunch of genies and nagas just hanging out there?
Yeah, but I can't afford any right now. Is the problem? Okay, so
Man.
somebody killed green already. That's ruthless. Okay, so that guy saw us and ran away. He's scared. But I think
waste
we
of
should go
time.
chase him down because he came through our back door. Like if a dude
wait.
runs into your back door, you're not gonna fight him.
I mean, I would if but on option B over here is I've just noticed that the park next to my house has Pandora's box just sitting there.
True. you would also have to call somebody about that. Yeah, let's go. Let's chase him into the other
Chase
world.
this guy.
I feel like
Jeremy's
we're
got vent-
safe.
It's a real Boston move. Like someone
Yeah,
just
yeah,
comes
yeah.
up on you and you're like, oh, I gotta kill this
I
guy.
have to fight this man. Yeah, that's the way I was raised. Yeah, let's see. I don't. He's probably gonna run away. I don't think we'll be able to catch him, but let's see if we can at
Top
least
right,
do a little.
wasn't he? He went up there.
Did he go up right? Okay, cool.
Top right, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, what's this? Artifact. Oh, so it doesn't tell us what this one is. Just artifact.
Who's protecting it? Who's the guy with the spike?
It's pikemen. A horde of pikemen. Oh, we could totally take him. So I can't afford to build
They've
it.
got terrible vitamin D down here.
Yeah. These guys have brittle bones. We're gonna snap them in two. They haven't seen milk.
There's
in
one of them
years.
there, up in
Yeah.
the top right. He just fell over and
Yeah. That guy wasn't long for this world.
those mushrooms.
So as you can see, the ranged units are. Oh, these guys have.
Oh,
Oh, no,
that
I
was
guess the
tough.
gremlins just suck.
Oh, do
Let's
they?
see. No, they're pretty tough. Yeah, let's see. We'll get them a little closer and
Wait
try
till
to do a
that
little
they
damage.
get close to that Nagas and it's all over.
Yeah, but these fights get so crazy later in the game when you have stacks of like 500 gremlins and
Oh,
20
really?
titans and like there's dragons. All of the different civilizations are really cool too. There's an Inferno one which is like devils and gogs and all sorts of weird bullshit. There's
Say
I'm
gogs?
gogs. Yeah, they're like little
Good old games.
yeah, it's Good Old Games is one of the units.
Did you get this on Good Old Games? Is this on Good Old Games?
I did get this on Good Old Games.
This has Good Old Games written all over it.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I think this game is like $2. But it's so fun, man. I like this is not one of those games that I played as a kid and I never revisit. This is a game that every 2 to 3 years I fire up and I play
Really?
for like 15 hours. It's unbelievably addictive. The combat is also like there's a lot of depth to it. Like you can see, there's like the directional sword thing. Some enemies can strike back. There's status effects. Like it has pretty deep RPG systems on top of this, despite being kind of simple looking. So another glorious victory for Peak.
You had some casualties that time.
A few, yeah.
A couple of golems didn't make it.
Okay, so we got basic logistics. This is a good. This is plus 10% movement on the overworld, which is good because if you're chasing down dudes. The Black Shard of the Dead Knight, plus 3 attack. Cool.
I love how it sounded so epic, and then you were like, "Oh, a
plus
mild
3.
status bonus."
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's not that cool.
What's that thing?
I think this is a spell.
There's the guy there. See him?
Oh yeah.
The top. See him on
Yeah,
the horse?
yeah. Can we
View Earth.
Okay,
That was
so
the spell.
Clavius. Look at that guy's eyes.
Oh my god.
Dude, isn't the art so good?
Yeah, it's so good. Look at that. So evocative. Look at
It's
him.
really intense. Yeah.
I'm Clavius.
Clavius. So let's see if we can chase down another hero and murk somebody.
Oh wait,
real
you're
quick.
doing some stuff back home here.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit. I'm dead broke, so I'm basically just building what I can afford. I just wanted to get that because I want the bonus gargoyles before the week is up.
Oh, but you can go back to the village and do some stuff. I gotta stop calling it a village. It's clearly not a village.
Oh
but-
yeah, so you can like so Peakdrum does not need to be here to do stuff here.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing you can basically do anything in your kingdom. You can recruit or build or whatever. Anything on the overworld you need heroes for.
Okay.
Are
you not
isn't
chasing
that
your man?
this is an Irish name, right? Aislinn?
Oh, that's very funny. That's almost. My sister's name is Ashling, but how it's spelt in Irish is you just replace the last N with the G there. That's
all
Ashling.
right.
So that's Aislinn. That one is. I don't know.
All right, so Danny's sister is making a move for our castle.
Get out of there, Ash.
Get out of there. We're making a video.
I know. Go back to working in. I better not dox her.
Don't dox her. Just make up a job. She works at the Mage's Tower.
Scullery maid.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not even a job anymore. It hasn't been a job for 100 years. I know.
She's the guy in the 1800s who would come knock on your door because alarm clocks didn't exist. Okay, so that guy, we're going to go kill that guy. This guy's toast. So let's grab a few more monsters here for Peakdrum. It's a new week, too, so we can't really afford anything is the problem. So
Get Pandora's box. It's got everything in the world in it.
Yeah, you're right.
Everything.
You're absolutely
Think
right.
how many genies, nagas, and jewels are just waiting in that box, and nothing else.
Yeah, true. No
Nothing
chaos.
bad. Nope.
No mythical chaos is in
No
there.
regret. Nothing.
I thought he was going to
What the
attack
fuck?
us.
Yeah,
this
he
guy, that was a bad move,
That's
Island.
Aislinn.
All right, I'm very glad we get to do this because
Did you save scum yet?
no, I have not saved
Oh,
scum
no.
actually.
Oh no.
Okay.
Look how fucking evil he looks in the top right.
Yeah.
And he's got 4 like death witches or whatever they are. What are they called?
These are wraiths, I think. Whites.
yeah.
Wraiths is
Whites.
the upgraded version of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that this guy looks like a Scream Spirit Halloween store mask.
He does, yeah, you're right.
So one thing you need to know is that you can retreat in this game, and it kills all of your units, but it saves the hero. So what you really want to try to do is not give them an
Oh my
opportunity to
God.
retreat. They can retreat if if it's their turn and they have any units left. They can retreat. So we're gonna try to be a little aggressive here and wipe this guy out. Oh, he ran away. He knew he didn't stand a chance.
Oh wow, already.
Yeah, so he just
Your
blew his
worst
whole
fears.
army.
You said it, and it immediately happened.
Yeah, I knew it was.
knew it. You knew
I've
it
played
was
enough of this game to know the meta. But he cleared the way to another obelisk.
Yeah.
We're well on our way.
Oh, we got a couple of them that time. It looked
Yeah,
like.
you can start to like guess a little bit too, because you see, oh, it's in a snowy place. Oh, it's by the beach or whatever, you know.
Can you go get Pandora's box? I want it so
I
bad.
so there's no.
Are you scared of the
here.
manticores?
No,
you
no.
can't
There's
get through.
this is blocked by rocks, so I would have to go.
Like through that cave up there, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go underground. Yeah, we're kind of boxed in here, which is a little.
What about the top?
weird.
There's a cave up there with the head.
Yeah, let's go in. Let's see if we can get through. So it should be like over here. I
Okay,
wonder-
yeah.
Pillar of Fire. I don't know what Pillar of Fire does.
What the fuck is that? Fucking Stargate.
Oh yeah, what is this? I don't. Monolith 2A. Why does that one look so weird?
Why does it look like the holodeck?
Why does it look like Teal'c is going to be hanging out there if we go?
Oh, and Daniel Jackson.
Daniel Jackson. Nice units, Daniel Jackson.
I'd play a Stargate game like this.
Oh, I would. Okay, so see, this is the annoying thing about our base location is we're just getting harassed now. So like this guy thinks he can make a
yeah.
play. Clavius, he needs to die. Like if we can end this play demo by murdering Clavius, I'll be very happy.
that'd be good.
Yeah, let's see if we can get because right now we have no. Let's like make it tempting for him. I can't even reach here. I'll just recruit some shitty little guys, and he can make a play for it. Oh, he almost made it. Okay, Clavius is done for. Let's just grab our units and go for him.
Is there like a tactic in not going in with too much stuff? Because like if you've got a huge army, they'll be like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that they'll retreat if they're gonna lose anyway. If you give them the opportunity to, and when they retreat, it wipes out their army. So I almost think a decisive victory is always preferable.
Right.
But you might have a better chance of finishing them if you had a less intimidating army. Like this guy's gonna run away right. Like
Look at his horn. Look how scary he looks in the top right.
Yeah, he looks cool.
He's got more stuff than the last dude. He's got 11 whites.
As much as I like Tower, and this is kind of my favorite kingdom, I do like the like weird evil ones, like Inferno. There's one Necropolis where it's like that's what they are. There's like skeletons and undead butcher knife guys. I can't even. The Nagas are so slow. They're really powerful, but
Can you attack him? Like, can your hero get hit? Like, can you go
no.
like, attack them directly? You can't. Okay.
no. All the hero can do is use spells and stuff. So
And if you defeat their army, do they die then?
yes. So the hero will be gone. So if they retreat, you can re-recruit them from the tavern, and they'll still have all their levels, all their artifacts, everything. And I
Wait,
think
you can recruit the person you just defeated.
If they retreat, yeah, they'll be recruitable.
At a tavern. Like
yeah.
they're just drowning their sorrows, and you go, "Hey, buddy, look, don't worry about it. We had your ass, but can you join us?"
We got your ass, but hey, man, like, listen, why don't you side with us? Your guy is not doing anything for you, man. He let you die out there. Okay, so we're gonna finish Clavius. It's done. He didn't make it. A glorious victory. Clavius was driven before our sword and murdered in an open field.
Wow.
And basic offense plus 10% damage for so this is cool. So the stats like attack and defense on the hero, those stack on the units. So like that's not Peakdrum's attack. That's the attack and defense of all of his units. So leveling up, like taking experience instead of gold in the early game is a good idea because you can have gremlins that are twice as powerful as another hero's gremlins.
10%'s no joke.
Yeah, I'm taking 10%. And yeah, I think that's a good little like sampler to Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which in my opinion is one of the most it's one of the most one more turn games I've ever played in my entire life. It's so hard to stop playing this game.
Thank you so much for letting me hang out with yourself and the gargoyles in Athenium here, and thank you for letting me play this game. I'm gonna check this out on GOG. This looks genuinely fun, not just like nostalgia fun. This looks like a good video game.
Dude, yeah. If we can get the entire Noclip crew to do an extra large map with like us versus 4 computer players, that would be a dream come true for me.
Wait, can you play this networked?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah. And the games last probably like on a large map maybe 8 to 12 hours.
Whoa.
It's awesome.
Holy shit. LAN party time.
And as we wrapped up and said our goodbyes for the night, I realized how many great aspects of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 I didn't even get to mention to Danny. The mid-game struggles with other superpowers who have multiple castles. The morale system where mixing different types of troops can give stat debuffs. The fact that there's an off-brand Lord of the Rings kingdom. But I think this speaks to what's so special about Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It holds multitudes. It defies expectation. And it somehow, despite all the odds, continues to surprise and excite me all these years later.